Welcome back, Pre-Calc. Our objective for today is to use the sum and difference formulas to evaluate trig expressions that are not on the unit circle. So I'm going to force a pause on your screen. You know what to do from here. So these are the sum and difference formulas. So if I want to find sine of an angle plus another angle, I can use that formula there, okay? So if you have these from class, I'd like for you to, I'm going to force a pause on your screen and just kind of see what patterns you notice. And then if you don't have them, go ahead and copy what I have. So maybe some patterns you notice are that when you're doing sine, your signs stay the same, like plus plus, minus minus, right? But when we're doing cosine, our sign, as an S-I-G-N, switches, correct? Also, with sine, you have sine and cosine together, but with cosine, you've got your cosines together and your sines separate, okay? So we are going to use these a lot today. For now, you can have those formulas in front of you. We will talk about what you'll need to memorize in class. But I've got a little story to help you kind of memorize some of these. All right, this is the story of Sinbad and Cosette. It's a trigonometric love story. Once upon a time, there were two families, the Tan U family, which had Mom, Dad, Sinbad, and brother, and the Tan V family, which had Dad, Mom, Cosette, and sister. These families were great friends and enjoyed spending time together as their children grew up. Once Sinbad and Cosette got to high school, things changed. Sinbad, after spending so much time with Cosette as a child, fell in love with her. Unfortunately, Cosette did not feel the same. When Sinbad and Cosette went out together with their group of friends and Sinbad was driving the car, he made sure to arrange it so he and Cosette could spend some time together. Sinbad made his brother and Cosette's sister sit together in the back seat while he and Cosette sat in front. Sinbad loved to tell people that his and Cosette's signs were the same. If Cosette drove, she made sure that Sinbad sat in the back seat with his brother and her sister sat in front. She made sure everyone knew that their signs were not the same. Sinbad was ecstatic when families got together, but Cosette was miserable. She was the only one of the two families that didn't enjoy their time together. So, let's summarize. So when Sinbad drives, he makes sure that he, Sinbad, and Cosette sit in the front together, and he makes sure everybody knows their signs are the same. And then Cosette's sister and Sinbad's brother have to sit in the back, okay? But when Cosette drives, Cosette and Cosette's sister sit in the front seat. She makes sure everybody knows her and Sinbad's signs are not the same, and Sinbad and Sinbad's brother both sit in the back, okay? So you probably already had those written down, but that is one way that kind of helps keep track of those formulas. All right, I'm going to force a pause on your screen. Let's try an example together. Okay, we're back. So I've got sine of 2 pi over 3 plus 5 pi over 6. So I'm going to think of the 2 pi over 3 as my u and 5 pi over 6 as my v. So who's driving, Sinbad or Cosette? Sinbad, right? So when Sinbad's driving, we have Sinbad and Cosette in the front together. Just make sure you go U, V each time. And he makes sure their signs are the same. So what should I have next, a plus or a minus? I'm going to have a plus to match the sign here, right? And then we've got Cosette's sister and Sinbad's brother sitting in the back, right? All right, so now we can evaluate these last pieces on the unit circle, okay? So I'm going to let you, let's do, so 2 pi over 3, that is in which quadrant? 2 pi over 3 is in quadrant 2, closer to which axis? Denominator of 3, so closer to the y, okay? So this is the point -1/2 comma square root of 3 over 2. So sine would be the y coordinate, so that's going to be square root of 3 over 2. Okay, I'm going to let you finish the problem on your own. Click continue when you're ready to see the final answer. All right, we should have gotten -1, so go ahead and pause your screen and check anything or correct anything that you need to correct. All right, so let's practice now with an angle that is not on the unit circle. So this is really where the formulas come in handy. Would you go ahead and write cosine of 15 degrees, please? So we first need to come up with two angles that I either add or subtract that are on the unit circle that make 15 degrees. So what do we think about cosine of 45 degrees minus 30 degrees? Right? So in this case, U is going to be 45 degrees, and V is going to be 15 degrees. So let's set this up. Who's driving this time? Cosette. So I'm going to have Cosette and Cosette's sister in the front, plus or minus? Plus, opposite signs, right? And then, by the way, I mean opposite of that sign. Okay, so it was a minus, now it's a plus. Okay, now we've got Sinbad and Sinbad's brother and the back seat. Okay, so, oh goodness, sorry. Do as I write, not as I say. Okay, so now can you go ahead and finish this problem based off what you know from the unit circle? All right, answer is on the screen. See how you did. Pause if you need to make some corrections. If you were to get the decimal approximation of this numeric value, it's about 0.965, which is what you would get if you typed in 15 degrees in your calculator. The purpose of these formulas, though, is that now you can get an exact answer for angles that are not originally on the unit circle. All right, I'm going to force a pause on your screen. Will you please copy example 3 for me? Particularly, we want to write sine of u is 5 over 13, cosine of v is -3/5, and then we're going to try to find cosine of u minus v. All right, so notice that this is a little bit different from the ones we were given because we don't know the angles u and v, right? But that's okay because we can draw triangles to represent them, and then we can just grab the pieces that we need, like sine of u, sine of v, cosine of u, cosine of v, okay? So it's going to look a little different, but once we have our triangles drawn, it will flow pretty clear from there, I think. So let's do that first. Let's draw two triangles, one to represent u and one to represent v. Make sure you draw them separately and label really well, okay? Notice that our note says they're both in quadrant 2. So I am going to draw a triangle here in quadrant 2. It is not drawn to scale. That does not matter. And here I'm going to make sure I label this first reference angle here as u. And I know sine is opposite over hypotenuse, and then the remaining leg, if you use Pythagorean theorem or if you know your Pythagorean triples, you'll get 12 here. Now, do you want that to be positive 12 or negative 12? That would be negative 12 because you're going to the left, correct? And let's do the same thing for angle V. Again, let's go quadrant 2 here, based off the directions. Again, not necessarily drawn to scale. So right triangle here, but this time make sure we label that angle V. Okay, so cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And we want the negative to go with the 3 in this case. Again, we've gone to the left. This is a 3, 4, 5 triangle, so do you want that 4 to be positive or negative? That'll be positive. We've gone up, right? Okay, so now let's apply Sinbad and Cosette. Who's driving, Sinbad or Cosette? Cosette's driving, so it will go Cosette and Cosette's sister in the front, right? And then since Cosette's driving, same signs or opposite signs? Opposite, so this will be a plus, since that was a minus. All right, and then we're going to have Sinbad and Sinbad's brother in the back seat. Okay, so now we're just going to go grab these trig ratios from our triangles. Now be careful, because one thing I see a lot is students will put like cosine of negative 12 over 13. Okay, that's wrong. We just want cosine of u, which is going to equal negative 12 over 13. So once you've found that ratio, remember your cosine part is gone, because that's what cosine of u is. We're going to replace this whole piece with a ratio. Okay, all right, so let's go to triangle U, the blue one here. For cosine of U, this is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse, right? Then I want cosine of V. So if I come here, that'll be negative 3 over 5. Right, then plus, and now I'm going to grab my sine values. So sine of the blue triangle is going to be, that's actually given, but 5 over 13, correct? And then sine of V is 4 over 5. All right, let's go ahead and simplify that. All right, so speeding up the simplification a little bit, we should have gotten 56 over 65. All right, I'm going to force a pause on your screen. Can you please copy example 4 for me? Okay, so I am going to pause again. If you think you know how to do this on your own, you can see it's going backwards, so you've got to figure out who's driving, if I have u plus v or u minus v. So see if you can go backwards, see if you can figure it out, and then go ahead and press continue when you are ready to see the answer, or if you just want to see the steps worked out. So our final answer is 1. Sinbad's driving here, right, because you've got Sinbad and Cosette. In the front, this would be U, this would be V. Sinbad, the signs are same, so I'd have, when I'm condensing, going the other way, I'd have sine of 80 plus 90, and I should have stated that those were in degrees, and 80 plus 10, 80 plus 10 is 90, and then sine of 90 is 1. All right, that is all. I will see you all next time.